Hey, good evening, everybody. I was really aiming to be ready for 7 today, and I kind of looked at the clock and saw that it was now. So sorry about that. But I am also happy that I'm finally streaming this game again. So for those of you who either don't follow Twitter or are like, I'm a small broadcaster. I'm not going to have a whole lot of people who are following me from anywhere but maybe the one thing where they maybe see me, and so it makes it difficult to kind of get the word out on some things. But essentially, what happened was I had been sort of fighting it wasn't even really a cold, but I definitely had sort of a tickle in my throat and lots of coughing. And about a week ago, I was probably just straight up lost my voice. And I tried as much as I could to not let that get in the way of the broadcasts. But Friday, I definitely wasn't in any shape to stream. Couldn't do the Book of Hours recordings on the I guess it was the Saturday and Sunday. I think I had tried. And I did do Monday. I think I actually kind of regretted doing Monday, but I also knew that on Wednesday I would be at the local game dev meetup. I actually didn't prepare a talk for that one specifically because I wasn't sure if I'd be ready. And to be honest, one of the problems that I ran into was just I kept trying to push myself instead of just like taking a sick day or taking time off other than the things that were actively using my voice for, hours on end. I didn't really do that much in terms of healing up. So that's on me. But I apparently should get sick more often because we did finally beat the Philip II building a hegemony. Or I did learn apparently the British pronunciation is hegemony. Anyways. Did make some progress in Old World, and while it was a shame not to do Phantom Brigade, I'm feeling better. Still the occasional cough, as you'll hear, but nothing too dramatic. The only other thing to say, work, it's picking up a lot, and generally good things. I think basically, as I'm getting more comfortable in the role, I'm getting more responsibilities, and definitely like big and interesting things. But I am sort of at the point. So what I'll do maybe at the start, I know it's tedious for people watching the VODs, but it is, it is Twitch, it is a live broadcast, and so I'd like to give people a chance to kind of come in. But I do have a number of things that I've been doing on my own time, and one of the things I've actually noticed, which I'm not crazy about, is that I've been finding it very difficult to keep my regular writing habit going. And I've been able to hang on to it so far, but I'm really starting to notice that it's the first time in a while that I've had to sort of make that time, even at the expense of, going to bed later or something like that. And of course that has sort of knock-on effects later on. But kind of for my days, so the commute probably knocks out practically 2 hours of every day. So that's 2 hours I couldn't really afford to lose, but it's for a better job, and I definitely feel like if you're doing something meaningful at work as opposed to the not-so-good environment I found myself in at the old place, that, even if it means there's a couple extra hours, I'm willing to do that trade-off. There's a big video that I've been working on. There's a series I would like to start and haven't, specifically because I already know what I'm already working on. I've got the YouTube videos that I'm doing. So in terms of things that I will do sort of unquestionably, a little bit of French training every day. I probably should do more, but, there's lots of things I'd like to do more of. Writing. Every other day, so the Monday, Wednesday, Friday are streams, obviously, unless there's the local game dev meetup. That just, unfortunately, the timings don't always work out for that, so I accept that there will be a small break on the on the schedule. I think I already mentioned the large video that I was doing. And then there's all the like learning and, you know, there's a couple of data projects that I'm working on and things like that. But there's a whole set of things that I want to start, and I've specifically avoided starting because I am already feeling really, really strapped for time on its own. So one of the things that I've been hoping to try and do, and actually I've also fallen behind a bit on exercise. That was mostly my tablet broke, which I kind of used for my my little Apple Fitness Plus things. I can use the phone, it's just not quite the same because it's a very small screen and I'm not going to hold it while I'm, you know, making strange poses or running around like a fool. So one of the things I've been trying to do with the workplace is I have a really great office. It's actually very pleasant to be in that building, and they have a couple of other things. So for instance, there's a piano in my building and a couple of very talented pianists, so I'm not going to play it in public, but you know, if I'm at work late I might get a little practice in. But I actually think that there's a lot of room for some of the side projects that I'm doing. You know, I do my time at work, but in order to sort of save myself the trouble, I actually don't mind spending a couple extra hours and just going off into one of the more quiet areas, because there's a couple of really nice dedicated areas for you know, just kind of a change of scenery, or you know, I think they kind of acknowledge some of the difficulties in terms of like coming into the office sometimes. So there's you know, there's areas that are kind of a nice I don't know, refuge or change of scenery. And I've always imagined that that would be a really good place for me to do some of the regular study that I do. So, you know, whether I turn that into some French time or whether I turn that into, you know, the mathematics or some of the statistics that I'm reading up on. Again, there's any number of things that I can sort of use that time for. But the main reason why I haven't been doing that lately is just because my hours are getting a little weird, just in the sense of, you know, if I feel behind on something, I might be up a little bit later, which means I get started a little bit later. And so that sort of starts this spiral of when I can or can't do certain things. So, you know, if I get up early enough in the morning and have some time to sort of putter about, then that might mean that, you know, maybe I do my writing in the morning instead or something like that. So anyways, I mean, this is a problem everybody needs to deal with. They've actually made a wonderful game about this kind of time management. It's called The Sims. And I will lick it eventually. But at the moment, I am definitely feeling a lot of pressure. And, you know, some of that may come from work just because of the growing workload, but I always feel like I'm able to get that work done within the 7.5 hours of a given work day. What I'm tending to find is that it's all the extra stuff in the surrounding area of my life that's starting to sort of, you know, put some pressure on in terms of just, I don't know, stresses or otherwise causing me to be late for stuff. So the plan for that basically is just not to take on new projects, get what I need done, and then sort of take a hard look at what I think is achievable. In the end, right now, it's just when I try to do a little bit of work on certain things, you know, the total amount that gets done in a week is less than if I did some concentrated work. But the problem is that if I want to do some concentrated work, inevitably somebody kind of comes in with their own little demands or whatever, and I do my best to accommodate, but in the end, it really puts a kind of a it just really creates quite a bit of disruption in terms of getting things done. So, anyways, that's a super long way of apologizing for the rocky scheduling and all of that, but we'll get through it.
Remember Zeta Tech convoy we hit?
Okay. Find valuable items guarded by powerful enemies.
The one when you took a hostage.
And now? Someone release my pet from his cage.
Bad guys are surprisingly relaxed about their turrets blowing up. All right. So I will get a ping in. I just want to see what I can find on my own, just because I know the pinging isn't always consistent. Okay. I feel like I should be able to see a couple of the cameras that I was using before, but... Who is this man? Oh, that's not a man, that's a woman. Okay, so I'm possibly setting myself up for a bit of trouble with the... Surely there is a less expensive ping. Yeah. There we go. Okay. I do tend to be a bit more heartless when it comes to the scavengers, but... so yeah, the big worry right now is that I don't respect the so why don't you let me target not electrically powered? Okay. The worry that I have right now is that because I haven't really respected the cameras, they might catch me as I'm running around. Cool.
Ну что опять?
I also hear a either a Johnny or a Relic sound. Oh yeah, Relic, 20 meters. Kind of want to know what this beeping is. Cured! Sounds like you are feeling better. I'm day 10 of 10. Can't stick around tonight, but I hope you have a good treatment. I am feeling better, Cured. Not 100%, but considerably better than before. And I know that Friday is normally a good day for you, so I do apologize for not being there last week. Best of luck. I was talking a little bit about all the things sort of pulling at my own attention. So I have a lot of sympathy for where you're at, but it sounds like you're at the end, so take care, and I will catch you in the next one, I'm sure. Okay, so I've got an FF 1C 1C, and then I could take the, yeah, so 1C 1C 7A. Now, I didn't check to see if I could get the 55, so there's possibly a chance still. So if I go 55 up here, yeah, okay. For sure. You know where I'll be. So I'm still getting a little freaked out by the dinging, but it could be... It could be the relic itself. Got the weapons from Sophia and her sons. Better look it over before we send them along. Take the rifles apart, put them back together, and test the shit out on them. Anything faulty goes right back to the stadium. Okay. I'm curious if that's removed the icon. Nope. So I have absolutely no problem taking my time on this one. I'm a bit exposed to the drone. Unless it just simply can't see anything. Red Cross. A crate marked with a red cross, likely part of a humanitarian aid transport. Okay. So one of the catches I have right now is it's quite difficult to get these people at the front. So I'm just going to try and take advantage of whatever distractions I can.
Crazy.
Okay. This is definitely one I gotta move to a good spot. Or a tolerable spot. Alright, now this... Okay, this can't make noise, so I don't mind putting her down here. Now I still need to worry about these two. But it looks like there are some goodies for me in this room. And again, there's two cameras that I'm going to want to take out in the area I'm about to go into. So if nothing else, it's just good for me to remember that it's there. Because 9 times out of 10, when I get caught by surprise, it's because I've forgotten about a... I've forgotten about a security measure that I was going to get back to. Sorry, I seem to have a couple crumbs or something on my mouse pad. I feel like I always do, but I think it's also I just actually here. I think it's the same ones that I never never properly deal with. Okay. Let's, So I'm going to see if I can do the same trick with these folks, actually. Yeah.
What's happening?
So from there, I can take out the person at the front. Not the best hiding job I've ever done, but we'll do the trick for now. That's one I want to work on reasonably soon. But she strikes me as someone who can sort of ruin the whole setup, so... Okay, so this is a good start. Just got a little more complicated with these two. Might be able to make it happen. I think at this point I'm okay just letting them lie there. Now I want to just go running straight towards that guy, but I know the sound will trigger if I do that. All right. So of course patrols and cameras are still a danger to finding those bodies, but I'm going to assign them sort of a lower risk or lower priority than just being able to move through the environment and clear out what I need. It's pretty clear that what I want is up here, guarded by the camera. But avoiding the wrath of the drone is also part of the job. Okay, so nice opportunity here. I gotta make sure I kill the camera. Okay, first part's down. Probably want to pull this person into the room so the drone doesn't potentially see. I mean, so far the drone hasn't been responsive to anything that I'm doing. But I don't want that to be... Okay, I don't have the authorization. Presumably that's going to come from this thing. It's unfortunate. I'm just going to have to let them... Nope. I'm assuming if the drone hasn't reacted now, I don't need to worry about it, but no point in creating more problems for myself. This is one of these rare cases where I've actually had a somewhat decent time. Like most of the time when I try to do these stealth approaches, there's something to go wrong. Making noises like that, for instance. And so far, it's actually turned out pretty well. Okay, so that was someone who I missed. And they're headed straight for me. So I have a couple of options if it gets a little scary. We're good. These ones I think I'm just going to leave in place. I'm starting to clear out most of the patrols that would have found people. But with that in mind, I'm also implicitly I'm committing to kind of going row by row, clearing them out. So like these three, I sort of want to try and take out now. That's easier said than done. Maybe not. I thought they were a trio, but they are pretty spread out. So if I was more vicious, I could put them in a box, but... So what I want to do here is the person behind I want to distract.
Oh man. What now?
Okay. So there should still be one more security camera I need to worry about. There's 3 guys in the middle. I can sort of handle that on my own time. They're not kidding when they say it's loaded up with valuable loot. I'm pretty sure I came from up here. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's at least one person upstairs. Unless that's the drone I'm mistaking. Right, this is definitely where I came from. Now, it just dawned on me that third camera I was worried about, I believe, is outside. And I can't really see a reason to be outside. Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, that's interesting. I pretty specifically told them to disarm. One of them I can understand, maybe I didn't do it soon enough, but the other one feels a bit off. Again, no biggie. I'm gonna overload that just to... I'm sure there's like a world where that would have been good to, you know, use against the enemy or something like that, but... Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Obviously want to clear out the place. I don't want to provoke anybody quite yet. I'm a little worried about the Arasaka drone, but it hasn't really registered my existence at all. Not that I want to like go running like right in front of it, but I've pretty much done a full circuit. So what I'm going to try now, I don't think I can use the offensive cyberware. Okay, this is, yeah, there's a very specific way this has been designed to work.
Holy shit.
Okay, I'm low on time. Got it. I was hoping the second one would take this guy, but we got what we needed. Okay, so except for the drone, I think we've cleared out any hostiles. That fucking stadium vendor was right. Could tear the Sokka drone to pieces and I still wouldn't crack the ice. Choom bumped the price, but at least he was honest. The only good thing in this whole fucking mess, gonna have to call those hoity-toity net wizards with the voodoos. Fuck me. Okay. Now I am curious about the fact that this just lost 20% of its health. Goods to pick up. Yo, 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 got the shit from the scraper. Send someone over to collect because we don't want hot stuff to stick around for too long. See ya. Yo, we heard what you mofos pull. Fucking cray-cray. Corpo convoy. Fucking respect, chooms. Gonna send some chooms to pick shit up. But tell me, you had some guy on the inside or what? Ha, maybe yes, maybe not. Better chat in person. Come by and we'll chat and celebrate. Humanitarian aid, don't worry about a thing, man. You think this is our first rodeo? The trucks are plastered in red crosses, we got the right logos, barcodes, etc. I mean, the fuckers even smell like love and charity. You really think someone's gonna peek under the tarp? Under that spotless virginal veil? No fucking way, Choom. You take the convoy in Night City, drive to the border, high five our SoCal Choom, and then fucking chill. Only we'll know it's packing rifles and grenades instead of bandages and chemo. Lost and found. Hey, you fuckheads lose something? Bit more specific, boss? Specific? Sure, I'll give you specific. You turd brains locked Igor in the trunk in the back. You're all fucking lucky they figured it out before they left Night City. Dickhead had a back of 0.5. The fuck you drinking over there? Rocket fuel? Alright, Arasaka MRS 07 heavy chrome, heavy combat drone, 1200 horsepower engine. Surface ceiling 33,400 feet, maximum speed 280 miles per hour, range 3,200 miles, weaponry 2 25mm robotic guns, grenade launcher. Friends, border guys, protectors. Isaiah Gunn, decent choom, works Mondays and Wednesdays, 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. Julian Pratt, greedy bastard, gotta grease his palms a little thicker, Thursdays and Fridays, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Downdre Warner, old reliable, we got dirt on the guy. Tuesdays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. to midnight. All these gents know how to behave when you're leaving Night City. We only cross the border during their shifts. Looks like my weight's too high. Alright, so first thing might be nice just to make sure that I don't have a pistol that I might like more. I know we've kind of gone through this before, but rifle? Probably not. Okay, so let's sort by type first. And as usual, the blues and pinks are the first to go. Sorry, blues, pinks, and duplicates. This one I might want to hang on to, actually. Right now I'll make the standard, we'll keep sort of one of everything. Okay, so we got 2 Omahas here. Too many choices. So we're already where we need to be with our weight, which is good. Okay, QB is the one I already have. This seems to have a whole lot more in terms of slots, so we'll clear that out. These are all copperheads, right? Yeah. This seems to me the one with the 4 slots is the better one to keep. Okay. That works for me. My god, we've got a lot of these. So blues and greens go first. And technically this gives me a higher DPS. It's too tempting. Alright, I am reasonably happy with where we're at with these. So obviously I'm getting a little more bold when it comes to the drone, because it may be that I may actually have to fight for this. Yeah, so I figure there's one of 2 possibilities here. Either I need to drop in, or otherwise, like, think my way to the objective. How dare the game, right? Or I need to fight something for it. So, let's take a moment and see if I can be clever. Subscriptions. John, listen, we'll be opening the exhibit any day now, and we need some magazines for the shop. Let's do a full year's order in advance, okay? I need 10 strictly educational titles, something focused on space developments, 3 more technical titles, like nitty-gritty spaceflight stuff, and then some corporate mags, something from Arasaka, Militech, Zetatech, so nobody complains we left out one of the megas. Oh, and throw in some of that social and cultural analysis bunk. You know, still focused on new tech development, future bullshit. Anyways, you get the picture. Put something together and send it along. We'll turn them into cash. Okay. So right now, I don't have a perfect view of what this room is like, but essentially the logic here is that's almost certainly opened the door that I needed. You're kidding me. Might have also done something with this, but... Okay, so the last step is just make sure... This is one drawback about ray tracing, is that as cool as it looks. Oop. Hey, next race is in the Badlands. The Nomans don't fuck around when it comes to burning rubber on their home turf, so I'm going to need you in top form. Like for reals. Meet at the end of Brooklyn Street at the new dam. Call like last time. Same as before, don't mention it. Alright, so just trying to take a quick peek in here and see if there's anything obvious in terms of opening doors. So it might have been that this was the secret, and I blew it by not being in the right place at the right time. The other possibility, so we've got a wire. Yeah, well, that's just hooking into here, and we've already kind of closed this off, so... Unless I want to try going on the roof again, I think probably... So I'm going to make a guess here that the memory wipe... No, you know what? Short circuit's the best answer. I could do this all day. Okay, so it is... There is an alert state. So it does seem like there's a way to interact with that, but... How I reach it is a whole other question. It did occur to me I'm wasting resources trying to interact with this thing. Okay, I think we'll just short circuit this thing for as long as it's gonna... Beware the techno-necromancers. Good advice. Probably could have used those turrets. There's also possibly the option of an EMP grenade, but I don't want to get too... I don't need to get too clever with this. I think it's pretty clear we can win on our own merits. Right now I'm mostly just looking for things to do while I wait for my RAM to charge. Well, if I want to go looking for more loot, sounds like I got something to play with. The real shame's going to be if taking this thing out doesn't actually give me what I want. Trying to think if there's anything other than an EMP grenade that I can use to improve my chances. I think just patience is the order of the day here. Okay, so we get, I think, was that about 9%? We just need 2 of those, and we're good. I'm assuming I'm going to have to hop down to get whatever comes out of it, but... It was more like 7, but either way, two hits and we're good. I don't know if it's randomized or not, or if I just don't know how to count. Both could be true. That was easy. Didn't even need to go downstairs for it. But I'm willing to guess that that didn't get me... Oh, it did. Sparky. Alright, I am happy. I also think that is the first time in a long time that I've tried a stealthy approach and had it turn out. I am slightly curious if there's a way out. No. I was wondering if there's a way out through the roof, but I'm happy to do it the traditional way. Okay, so I do have some side jobs which I'm a little more inclined to do right now. So we've got wait for Reed at the Moth. Then this apparently catches stash, which what's the story there? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I like the idea of doing this gig first. Then we'll go to maybe this gig, then Money for Nothing. I don't know if there's much for me in this part of town yet or not, but I think that would be a good marker for maybe meeting Solomon.
Рыбаков, Пет! Ви, Борис Рыбаков! That's bullshit, молодой!
Okay.
Explosion, big woo. Something blows up every day in this part of the world. No reason to get excited.
It was like something out of a movie.
There's definitely a couple parts around here that cause me problems, but I think we're reasonably safe.
V. In Luxor Heights, there's a, let's call it a sports academy. Clients from all around the world come there to seek fresh talent. Contracts are signed while taxes allegedly go unpaid. It so happens that my client doesn't like people who cut corners. With my Netrunner's help, you'll enter the facility and extract the data that's of import to my client. Godspeed.
Gig objective: acquire Fiona Vargas's client data. Center for Neuromotor Development, Site 341 in Luxor Heights. Details: can you believe some people avoid paying their taxes? Shocking, I know. Someone needs to put a stop to it. Who is guilty of such heinous crimes, you might ask? Sports scouts who fly in from all across the globe to the center run by Fiona Vargas. They sign contracts with promising athletes, wire sizable transfers, and dodge taxes while they're at it. Our client isn't thrilled. You'll be acquiring any data linked to Fiona's clients and their contracts. Getting in won't be easy, which is why you'll have the help of my Netrunner near the site. Best of luck, V. Okay. Fiona Vargas is an extremely talented and moderately cynical, at least by Dogtown standards. She quickly became a respected ripper in the community, and just as quickly she was faced with a choice. Either stay at the hospital and treat patients, or start cyber-modifying athletes, help people, or make money. After a few years, she became the head of the Center for Neuromotor Development, Site 341, and her office accumulated medals, trophies, and awards won by the outstanding athletes she helped mold. There is, however, no success without failure. Some kids don't succeed, and their files end up in a drawer in Fiona's desk. And there, they say, buried along with their dreams. Today, Dr. Fiona Vargas's main job is to divide people into two types, those who will bring her medals and those who belong in the drawer. The Center for Neuromotor Development, Site 341. The Center for Neuromotor Development, Site 341, is a cutting-edge facility dedicated to the development of young athletes. Its main goal is to discover young talent and shepherd them into successful careers. Prospective athletes spend years under the guidance of specialists, ripper docs, coaches, biohackers, and psychologists. These young athletes undergo genetic and cybernetic modification to ensure their nervous systems are capable of high performance from an early age. However, not all bodies can withstand the demands of modern-day competitive sports, sports whose spectacle lies partially in taking risks and pushing the limits of human capability. As the 341 and its name would imply, there are hundreds of such facilities across the world. Not all operate in accordance with the law. So I'm curious if this is the... I'm pretty sure this is the same mission. Okay, so they don't necessarily want to fight.
Your hand's Merc, right? How much you know about the job?
Not much. Hans mentioned something about athletes and peeps evading taxes.
Here's the sitch. At this academy, they're training, molding young athletes. Folks flying from across the world to meet them, sign contracts. You're going in as a scout for the San Diego Shredders. Name's Victor Wilson, 28, and you're looking for a wide receiver. Scheduling you in their system now. You following all this?
Got it. San Diego Shredders, Victor Wilson, 28 years old, looking for a wide receiver.
Well done. Just remember to keep a tight lip, no unnecessary chatter. Once you're in, find Fiona Varga's office, the Academy's director, and pull data on every scout who's ever signed a contract. Questions?
What's the sports academy doing in Dogtown?
They're all over the world. They make athletes stronger, better. But if you want to enhance them earlier than the legal age limit, where would you go?
Where no one gives a shit.
Or as it's more commonly known, Dogtown. Whatever Hansen says, goes. And nobody gives a fuck about the rest.
Cover story's a little thin. Ought to flesh it out, don't you think?
No need. It's your way in, nothing more. Beyond that, avoid any talk about yourself. Just blend in, get the data, and get out.
Hans is a tax collector now. Yeah, I ain't buying it.
How about shitload of Eddie's collector? Sound more believable? Job isn't glamorous, but it pays.
Arasaka demons. Not easy to come by.
How'd you know they're Arasaka?
Ex-counter intel. Third branch.
Ex-Cybersec. First. Looks like we both took a wrong turn somewhere. Sorry. I'm Baird.
V.
Okay. Quick scan and... we're in. System recognized you. Should be able to waltz straight in. Good luck.
Now, normally it's told me who I should be. It's going to be very funny if it asks me to hold to the cover story.
Welcome, Mr. Wilson. If you'll join me, please.
What is it?
Everything you see here is protected under an NDA. Should any information about our athletes be made public, our contract with the Diego Shredders will be terminated, effective immediately.
Ouch, sounds serious.
If I may, I suggest you start your visit at our world-class bar. Drinks are on the house.
Well then, got my first mission for you.
Need you to neutralize 3 shots of tequila, stat.
I'd like to speak with Dr. Fiona Vargas in private.
Without an appointment, I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Who's using these bots?
Our verbal motoric integrated interface is used by scouts such as yourself remotely, from Asia, Europe, Africa. Since not everyone can make a personal appearance in Dogtown, we've provided a solution.
These athletes, V. They're kids. Kids way too young for this kind of crime.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next junior for the 2077-2078 season is Katie McCannon. Katie is a young but extremely talented...
Okay, it won't let me tag these guys. It's pretty clear I'm not going to be able to walk straight into those.
Top scoring position.
See a free spot on the other side with your name on it.
She's a ACLs and boasts excellent quadricep growth.
Be right with you, sir.
Our next athlete, whom you'll have the pleasure of meeting, is Kelvin Golden Strickland. Kelvin is a dyed-in-the-wool fighter with an instant
These
knockout
showcases
punch.
happen often?
2/3 of all his bouts
Only when Dr.
end in
Vargas thinks an
knockout
athlete's
victory.
worth showing off, which is pretty
Who's
obvious.
interested in signing with Kelvin, please feel free to review his latest performance statistics.
Dr. Fiona ever make an appearance at these things?
Nah, she's not really the type to mingle. Prefers sitting cooped up in her office downstairs.
No booze, thanks. Make it a Nicola?
There you go. First time I take it. Which team you scouting for?
The statistics are live. In just a moment, you'll see another ring.
I'm with the San Diego Shredders, scouting for a wide receiver.
You say the Shredders? Small world. I'm Katie. With Tomas 2 seasons back.
That's what I get
Vic
for
Wilson.
unnecessary chatter.
Shopping for another wideout after re-signing your franchise stats leader? Man's an all-time deep threat. What's his name?
Look, pal, you say you know Tomas, but I don't know you. And I don't discuss team business with randos.
Bill, I think our friend here needs something stronger to loosen up.
Work on your own drink, pal.
Yeah. Fuck yourself, too.
What the?
That was tempered glass. What I wouldn't give to know Fiona's secret.
Sorry, I have to close the bar for a
Forgive me,
sec.
ladies and gentlemen, but due to damaged equipment, this athlete showcase is on.
Now's our chance to sneak behind the scenes of this fucking circus.
Johnny Silverhand asking me to get up from a bar. Something new every day.
Just saw a fire that we gotta.
This is definitely a neat mission. I like it when the game does these kinds of these more sort of spy-ish missions. I think I need to distract first. Ooh, that almost blew up. Okay, I have a little bit of time. Sorry. So yeah, the first thing I want to do here is take over the camera so that I can see anyone else who might be a problem. I can ping, but I want to ping at the end. Because I'm also assuming that if I do cause a fuss, I might pass the mission, but it's going to be a big pain to deal with everyone. Is that Fiona? Nope. Yeah, honestly, if I can just minimize the number of surprises that I have, again, I need to be quite careful with the cameras because it doesn't seem like they're kind of pointing at each other. But if that's my own, well, no, I don't think they're pointing at each other. But yeah, basically, if cameras pointing at inconvenient places is my only problem, I think we should be able to see this through. Adrian Muller and Tamia Muller. And what if they fire me? This is about our son. Would it really hurt you to ask? You know his dream is to become a basketball player. But they already rejected his application. His official application. But you work there. You can ask Fiona. Tell her it's your son and that it's his dream. Fiona's a neurotic bitch. There's no telling how she'll react. What about how I'll react? Worry about me. Think I'm going to... So there's a small risk here, because traditionally the skull has meant that I'm not able to take these guys out. That's clearly changed. Okay, so I do want to see what's behind this door, but again, the focus was on bad guys first. Can't open the bathroom doors. 0 out of 10. The CD Projekt has betrayed the fans. Alright, let's... I want to steal some components first. Oop. Okay, so there's somebody we missed. But I don't see how I get past this door. Oh, no, I can hack it. Sorry about that, comrade. Okay, let's try 1C, 7A, 1C. Okay, so we do 1C, 7A, 1C, then we try the FF. Yeah, we can do that. Never going to be sad to see those Netrunner numbers go up. Now, we might just have the keys to the castle in here. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely keep sports medicine open. Sports medicine area from Dr. Fiona Vargas to all dear employees. This is a reminder that access to sports medicine, level -2, without permission is forbidden. This concerns security staff in particular. The sight of armed individuals induces stress in our young charges. Elevated cortisol levels negatively influence athletic performance, and I greatly dislike when someone absent-mindedly ruins hours of hard work. Sincerely, Dr. Fiona Vargas. Sorry for messing that up. Okay, so I think this takes me out to the showroom. Yeah. Frankly, should have known better, but... Now, there's ways that I can pull that guy out, but I need to remember that if I do that, he's going to see this fella. So right now, I'm just going to keep... Right, I forgot I turned all those off. I'm going to keep to the mission. And it just told me hostile area. I'm not entirely sure how this is more hostile than the previous area, but I consider myself appropriately warned. Alright. This is exactly the sort of thing I was worried about. My best bet is to do a distraction here. Okay, good. Good lord. That almost went very badly. Again, I'm reluctant to kill people over a simple job like this. It's one of these challenges where... You know, I'm not quite sure why. I've noticed it a little bit more often. 1 second, synthetic skeletal muscle, 11 years old, CNMD site 210, CNMD site 341. Choom, listen, I'd hold out with chipping that skeletal muscle implant because according to the latest research, it's better for kids to recreate nerve connections after an injury using their own muscles. Bullshit. The latest research? There's no new research apart from the kind Fiona does, and the results speak for themselves. Why waste time recreating nerve connections that you'll have to recalibrate with new muscles anyway? This week we're chipping that kid. No point waiting for another injury to happen. Athletes evaluations. Emma Lee, age 11, mental state very good, developmental prospects good, opinion of Dr. Fiona Vargas, contract signed with Atlanta Wolves, prepare for transport. Kevin Strickland, age 11, mental state average, developmental prospects very good, opinion of Dr. Fiona Vargas, highlight during athlete showcase. Tommy Walker, age 13, mental state worrying, symptoms of depression despite constant AI-driven psychological care, developmental prospects none, opinion of Dr. Fiona Vargas, let go. Angela Stein, age 12, mental state good, developmental prospects unoptimistic, opinion of Dr. Fiona Vargas, let go. Dante David, age 9, mental state good, developmental prospects good, opinion of Dr. Fiona Vargas, invest. Katie McCannon, age 12, mental state very good, developmental prospects very good, opinion of Dr. Fiona Vargas, highlight during athletes showcase. Sylvie Haitanen, age 10, mental state depressed, consider testosterone and antidepressants, development prospects good, opinion of Dr. Fiona Vargas, invest. Sigrun Steen, age 11, mental state worrying, under constant AI supervision, specializing in behavioral psychology. Developmental prospects average, opinion of Dr. Fiona, invest if psychological therapy is successful. Okay, turn off the surveillance system. I am going to remote take over though. Yeah. Alright. I'm going to want to keep a close eye on... So it's just because I got surprised by a couple workers. I want to make sure that I am covering all my bases. I'm sure we'll be fine, but no point in taking unnecessary risks. Okay, but yeah, so I've noticed... I'm not 100% sure why, and I think it might just maybe be a change in the composition of people who watch my stuff, but I remember there's kind of a turning point where it felt like making character-driven decisions was sometimes perceived as like a waste of time.
Training these kids get here, state of the art.
I always found it kind of a shame because I actually have no place to put this person. It's like Book of Hours was a really clear example of that, where I want to see what this. Where, you know, I'm obviously very invested in the secret history setting, and so when I'm going through the Tree of Wisdoms, and I sort of see a reference to a god from nowhere, I'm going to decline to follow through on that. And I think one thing that's kind of neat about that particular experience was I have since sort of moderated my view on those things. Which again I think is kind of a strength of the writing in the game. So I'm just figuring out the last step. Okay, I think I have what I need. So if we go 55, 1C 55, yeah, and we get E9, 7A 55. But yeah, you know, to me, choosing what goes into the Tree of Wisdoms is an important part of playing that game to me, because it sort of represents my thinking of the world, you know, or on the world. And I kind of want to make sure that there is a consistency in terms of the decision making, right? It's the idea of a role-playing game as more than just a collection of stats and levels. And that was kind of the first time that I got this very hostile reaction. Like, I don't think I've gotten a reaction like that since really when I did Crusader Kings, and someone was really confident I should do something that turned out to be wrong, and then they got mad at me because it didn't work. But I don't know, there's something I'm not sure if it's something about the audience that changed, or just you know, wider exposure, so people there's a different type of person who's watching. But the big thing for me for most role-playing games has usually been the ability to invest in the world. And it doesn't mean that the gameplay parts, like the gamey things, are irrelevant. Tell Fiona that Tommy Walker isn't fit for further training. The kid's body is either too old or too drained from mediocre implants, which slow down his regeneration. Tommy also has psychological issues, among them low self-esteem. More importantly, in spite of decent performance on the machines, he just can't play that well. He becomes stressed during games, causing him to make one mistake after another. He needs to go. Someone with more potential ought to take his place. And again, like, so I realize that talk like this can definitely sound almost sort of poor me. That is definitely not where I'm going with that. Because I mean, in the end, like, the easy answer for stuff like that is just like turn off the comments, or just, you know, don't like, don't engage with those types of comments. You know, engage with the ones that provide a sense of I don't know, fulfillment. I will say, I mean, it's important not to shut yourself off too much from things that might be critical, because then, you know, you potentially miss out on a chance to get better. But yeah, if people are going to say, you know, you like, I don't know, if you play a narrative game and somebody says you care too much about the story, you know, maybe there's not a whole lot for you to grow, you know, grow with there. We're already in the athlete zone, so not much for me to do there. But yeah, I don't know. I think I talked about this last time I played Cyberpunk, but I've been thinking a little bit more about, just because it was mostly just a Reddit post of somebody comparing Traveler with Dungeons and Dragons roughly around the time that those two games came out. I believe Traveler came after Dungeons and Dragons, but really drawing the contrast between getting experience points and making your character stronger, you know, the number go up factor. Certified pro-grade athlete, baseball, experimental limb augmentations. Okay, that's concerning. Just whenever I see light, it makes me think that there might be a security camera or something. But yeah, and I don't necessarily see these things as being in conflict.
Darn it. I was just looking for a...
It's all right. What's your name?
Tommy.
How'd you get in here? They let you out of your room?
Well, I know a few tricks. My dad's a techie. He taught me a ton of stuff.
Hi, Tommy. My name's V. What you doing here?
Nothing. I'm just kind of here.
In the director's office? Come on. I know you were looking for something.
Yeah, sort of wanted to see if I got picked for a team, but still no one. It's not fair. I've got all the right skills, the right chrome, I'm super duper fast.
Hey, lighten up, kiddo. You're too big to be crying.
It's just, well, I'm getting old.
You. Old.
Soon no one will want me. Not even the worst teams. Dad said I can't screw up because we live in Dogtown and career in sports is our last chance.
Tough having that responsibility. But if it wasn't for your family, what would you want?
Have some fun, I guess. Or take a vacation. That'd be neat.
You're a good kid, Tommy. Know that?
I know.
Hey, chin up, kiddo. It'll all work out. You'll see. Say, little whiz like you wouldn't know where Fiona's terminal is, would you? Need it for a sec.
It's right there. Can't you see?
Well, would you look at that? Silly old me.
See? I know everything.
Yeah. Clever little rascal. Now buck up and get out of here, or Miss Fiona sees you.
Yes, sir. I just need to find, that thing.
Uh-oh.
What in the... Tommy, out, now.
Wait, he was looking for your office. I was just trying to help. Please, Miss Fiona.
Leave the boy out of this, please.
It's okay, Tommy. Don't gotta stay. Fiona and I need to talk grown-up stuff. Right?
That's right.
Now run along, kiddo.
We're reasonable people. I'm sure we can work something out. What is it you want?
Password to the terminal and the data of every suit you've done biz with. Transactions, contracts, agreements. Whole enchilada.
What do you intend to do with it?
Got it backwards. I'm the one asking questions.
I have a duty to protect my business and my clients. You understand that, I'm sure.
Business? The fucking gall.
Think of the children. Would you really deprive them of their only chance for a better life?
Just gets better and better, this bitch.
If you please, just hear me out. I'd like to make you an offer.
Start talking, and it better make sense.
Thank you. Come, let me show you something. See this?
Posters and trophies? That's supposed to convince me.
Mark Elway, 22 years old, exceptional basketball player. Monica Diaz, 25, ranked top 15 worldwide in tennis. And our brightest star, Al Ford, the NUSA's heavyweight champion at only 21 years old.
Guessing I'm about to hear this is all cause of you.
I helped them, me. And if you leak my clients, this center will go under and these kids' bright future darken quick. Including Tommy. His file's right here. You help me, you help him.
It's a kind of cynicism that deserves a medal. Cheap plastic kind.
Had it up to here with your cynical bullshit. Get me access to that data.
No need to get emotional. Let's be professional about this.
Shut up and grant me access.
You'll be destroying everything I've built.
It's a fucking idea. Access now.
Fine. Here.
So, yeah, these are... So there's a few things that I like about this mission, and I keep running out of... there's a lot of different things that come up while I'm talking about it. So the conversation with Tommy, there's a lot of different... there's a lot of different...
You'll regret this sooner than you think.
Data received. It's time you made your exit.
Just leave, please.
Charming list, athletes requirements, video games, Dead Kitty, Wild Doggy, Splendors of Rome, Bushido Forsaken, and consoles. Request granted. Brain Dances, Comatose 5, Bloodcesium, Gladiator Endgame, Love in Times of Chrome 3. Request denied, negative impact on neural development. 2. Expand digital book subscription to include biographies of athletes and historical figures, especially Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, etc. Request granted. By the way, order more stimulants from the usual list and some muscle relaxants too. Sports medicine area, same story here. So the idea of parents pushing too much on their kids is not a...
Let's not make this any longer than it needs to be, shall we?
Welcome, dear Dr. Vargas. We kindly remind you that you are scheduled to give a lecture entitled European Professional Sports Regulations during the annual medical conference in Warsaw next week. Your orbital flight tickets are ready for collection at Night City Airport. Your presence at the conference is a great honor for us. Thank you, dear Dr. Vargas. Our son just scored his 5th goal in Braga. We'll always be grateful for what you've done for our son, and in just a year, it's truly incredible. Thank you in particular for the discount on the Chavalis operation. Sincerely, Victor Curro. Jennifer Haley, help needed. Dear Dr. Vargas, we need your help. Our daughter, Jennifer Haley, spent 3 years of her life in your facility, but unfortunately was never chosen for a contract. I make no secret of the fact that our family's financial situation doesn't permit us to cover the cost of Jennifer's medication. As you're well aware, without her medication, the modifications you've given her will cause her to suffer. A 16-year-old girl shouldn't have to experience cluster headaches or kidney stones. I am begging for your help. I am not asking for money, only for medication to stop my daughter from being in pain. Dear Mr. Haley, I am an assistant to Dr. Vargas and I'm answering on her behalf. I'd like to remind you that the parents of every child who enrolls in our program is informed of the potential health risks that may arise from our cyber modifications. Both you and your wife signed an agreement in which you waived the right to file any financial claims in connection with your child's potential health issues in exchange for free room and board, training and modification for your child for, as you yourself pointed out, a 3-year duration. The possibilities and associated risks were known to you. I wish you and your child health and prosperity, and ask that you please stop harassing our esteemed Dr. Fiona Vargas, or we will be forced to take legal action. You motherfuckers! Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Invitation to Gozo. Fiona, you are cordially invited to the Count of Kala in the Maltese island of Gozo. It would be an enormous honor if you would find the time to pay us a visit and share your thoughts on the site we have built here. We would like to be up and running by next year and are currently scouting athletes who might join us. You know how much I value your opinion and experience, and I'm prepared to compensate you for it as well. No need to worry about the heat. We'll make sure you're as comfortable as possible. But yeah, so it's certainly not a, the story of parents putting a lot of pressure on children to perform in sports or to achieve maybe some of the things that they weren't able to. This has been done a lot. For one reason or another, I actually think a lot about the parents of children that they've sort of built social media accounts around, whether it's, you know, a TikTok or a, you know, or a, like, YouTube channel or something like that. Okay.
Someone take that position! Cover me! No, no, no! Cut him off, damn it!
It's a lot of guys.
Stand by! Position locked!
So I can use the ricochet if I need, but
Shots fired!
so I'm a little worried about the guy on the left, but right now
Fire! Fire!
I'm good.
Someone take that position!
So I wasn't thinking that he would have a precision rifle because of the dash sound, but
We stand together! We stay alive!
who are you talking to? Okay, there's still people there. I know it's just one target. Oh. I have absolutely no idea where that person on patrol for me was. Oop. Anyway, there were a number of factors that I really liked about that one. So again, there's the child element to it. There's a lot of different mappings that you can put on it. Oop.
Nicely done, V. Thanks to you, our Europeans can make sure tax evaders don't go unpunished.
You knew they were chipping kids there.
Why so dramatic? It's an open secret by now. Everyone knows what goes on there. Few care. If I've offended your sense of moral decency, I do apologize. Contract closed. Until the next time, V.
But yeah, I'll be honest, one of the strengths, in my opinion at least, of this DLC, although there are definitely a few missions like this in the base game as well, tend to be those ones where it's not just that you're able to sort of approach it from a non-violent perspective. Because I actually tend to think that the ability to do that in some games is often overstated as a as a selling point. So like one thing I always keep hearing about Deus Ex, and I actually just don't think it's that interesting, just how people go on incessantly about how you can complete that game non-violent. So first of all, non-violently is a stretch, right? But without fatalities, I think is what they mean. And I just don't see, I can see how that would maybe be representative of the amount of choice that you have inside of that game. And I think that is one thing that people legitimately find very impressive about the game, and, you know, one reason why it's been such a big inspiration.
There was a massacre over at Longshore Stacks. Residents murdered by one Leon Rinder, a long-serving ex-Bargus ghoul. Naturally, the victims' families want him found and appropriately dealt with. Head down there and find Brianna Dolson, the Stacks' unofficial representative. She'll fill you in. Happy hunting.
But yeah, no, I just think it's better if you can to talk about the actual merits of the game as opposed to sort of the point of reference, if that makes sense. But the thing that I actually find really interesting in terms of Cyberpunk is sometimes the missions where you do have these nonviolent approaches it informs this overall feeling that you get during the mission. And it's usually better off for it. So for instance, one thing I really liked about that is when you run into the kid. Now, one thing I suspect is sort of designed to, you know, tug at your heartstrings and make you sort of have that dilemma as to how you handle the mission. Now, for me, it's pretty simple, right? I'm hired to do a job. In fact, you'll notice that for most of these, I am doing the job that has been asked of me. You know, I will sometimes skirt the edges. I will sometimes, you know, find a way of achieving the goal without, you know, while still doing something in line with what I might individually want to see. But I don't necessarily like the idea of being an unreliable mercenary. And that's just kind of the way that I've wound up playing this character. But the one thing I actually liked about the interaction with the kid, and I tend to see that this is underdone in a lot of games. So, and you can actually see where people would make this mistake with Cyberpunk. There's this idea that you are playing this sort of larger than life character who's just a big badass and, doesn't bow to anyone. And so often what this can translate to in some cases are these very one-note characters who have only one approach to to their encounters, and it usually involves just showing how tough they are. And in some games that's completely appropriate, right? So like if you're playing something like Gears of War, you don't just open containers, you smash them open, right? And that's just something that's kind of running through that game. Although I'm not entirely sure people, consider that game in terms of showing, subtle nuances of the human experience, let's say. But the thing I liked the most about the kid was not necessarily it wasn't necessarily the moral dilemma that's introduced, but it's a couple of factors. So number one, I like the fact that I saw the little girl on the bike, and then I saw another pod that was empty. And so that raises a question in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And then that's answered by seeing someone who shouldn't be in there. So it's this nice little surprise, which again, I think that's a lot, to me at least, about sort of building a world that's credible, and it enhances sort of the role-playing aspect of it. But the other thing that I liked is that you have this option to be friendly to the child, right? And whether this means, you're the mercenary with a heart of gold, or whether that means that you're, my take on it, which is that when you are doing sort of these clandestine activities, a lot of people will take as the model sort of James Bond, right? Big, exciting action sequences, achieving your goals through force. But if you compare it to, reading about the people who do these things, or if you compare it to something like the TV show The Americans, which, I saw, I actually haven't seen it recently, but we've talked about it before. Very often it's just a question of getting someone else to do something for you, or it's making sure that they don't raise the alarm, or otherwise just getting the things that you need. And very often, like a great example, I think actually this was in a Neil Stephenson interview or something like that, when I think somebody had asked him it was like a Slashdot interview or something like that. I read it in the book, Some Remarks, where, he sort of says, the best form of, I can probably find it on my phone or something like that, but there's something along the lines of, what do you do for protection or whatever? And, he gave a very practical answer of saying, that one of the best forms of, of self-defense when you're traveling is just to be, friendly. Don't offend the locals, right? I think that's a completely, not only is that just a completely reasonable way of looking at the world, but it's actually a very reasonable way of, thinking about what this character is trying to do, right? So what do I need to do as V inside of this? Well, I just need to get information about customers, right? And every step that I take that is either going to, make someone feel like there's something bigger at stake, or that there is a larger attack going on, or, any number of reasons, potentially puts a complication towards getting that objective. Whereas being able to just talk with people, in some cases, if you're a very good talker, maybe you don't even need to go in that building. The bartender's able to go in and do that for you. But anyways, so yeah, that's. I realize that I'm probably reacting the wrong way to that encounter, but it's one of these things I actually really like about the way that some of these work out, and I think it's appropriate for Phantom Liberty, where you're obviously dealing with somebody who's been set up in Dogtown and waiting there a long time. So I think it's another view on the world that wasn't really there until they opened it up with the expansion. I'm going to read this description, and then I think I'm going to take a very small break. I might get some tea and otherwise have a stretch in that. I've actually been sitting a lot, so I'm kind of feeling very cramped up. But let's at least get the basics down. Gig objective: neutralize Leon Rinder. Location: Longshore Stacks. The Stacks have seen better days. Leon Rinder, one of Hansen's former triggermen, killed 8 civilians in cold blood. We don't know why he was there, or what caused him to snap, or why Hansen kicked him out of Bargast. Lots of questions, not many answers, and only one thing is for certain: the victims' families want Rinder dead. But first, he'll need to be located. That's where you come in. Head to the Stacks, investigate the scene, and talk to Brianna Dolson, the Stacks' unofficial representative. Perhaps you'll uncover a lead there. Okay, but yeah, I'm going to take a quick minute to, get myself sorted out. It's been pretty quiet, so I don't know if there is somebody who's been hanging out for a bit. I'm going to run ads for a minute just to, help people dodge the pre-roll. But otherwise, we'll be back to more Cyberpunk in a little bit. Okay. I am mostly back. I forgot to... So I got a couple things. I forgot to do a French lesson, so I got that taken care of, but the kettle is still boiling. So what I'm going to do is I'll make some progress in the game. Once I start hearing the kettle boil, I'll pour the tea, but it shouldn't take like a full break or anything like that. Longshore Stacks, a residential quarter of Dogtown packed densely with makeshift structures fashioned from shipping containers, old construction equipment, and debris. A city within a city that offers everything the average Dogtown resident needs: trade, bars, a central plaza, and even a hotel. Much of the new tech flowing into Hansen's Market at the stadium first has its serial numbers filed off here. If you're searching for a missing person, this is the place to start. If all you want is a warm Scott burger and a cold beer, go no further than the Stacks. Kids chase each other in a maze of sheet metal. A local boozehound musician picks at guitar strings. A junkie rubs one out to a skin BD in the comfort of his rusty cargo container. Life finds a way. Brianna Dolson. Some people genuinely believe others are good. They trust them. They lend them money and their prized possessions. They don't think about whether they deserve it. They sacrifice their time without expecting anything in return. Brianna Dolson is one such person, but only to those she considers her own. The residents of the Longstore Shacks, strangers are suspicious at best. Brianna rose to the top of her community in the Stacks when solving other people's problems became her daily life. Need protein blocks? Go to Brianna. Child gone missing? You go to Brianna. Was your brother killed? Brianna. You can be sure that she'll listen to you and do everything she can to help. Of course, Brianna is not flawless. Of course, Brianna is not flawless. If she were, she wouldn't have ended up in Dogtown. We've got a situation in the Longshore Stacks. The mess was made by Leon Ryder, once a soldier with Hansen, now a killer of 8. It remains unclear what Rinder was doing in the Stacks, what caused him to snap, or why he left Hansen's ranks. So many questions, V, so few answers. One thing is certain, the victims' families want to get their hands on Rinder, but first we need to find him. Enter you, V. Go to the Stacks, search the area, and talk to their unofficial representative, Brianna Dolson. Maybe you'll find a lead. So it's only 2 minutes before the vigil, but...
What's this? I need a thermal vision filter. This one's night vision.
How am I supposed to know the difference?
Better focus and start learning these things. I won't be around forever, you know.
But I don't want to sell drones. I want to be an AV pilot.
And what will you do if the gyro malfunctions on your shiny AV? You gotta be able to rely on your skills or you won't survive in this city. Now quit yapping and pay attention.
People died and you're out here playing? Have some respect!
I'll have someone bring us something stronger.
Hansen's rabid brutes are at it again. Remember 75? Wasn't as bad as this, but they killed 2 kids then.
Sorry for interrupting. Name's V. Hands send me. Brianna, I take it?
That's right. Martha. This man here, he'll help us. We'll give you some space. Okay?
Yes. Go.
Sorry, emotions are running high right now. Before we start, need to understand who you are. Where from? Life in Dogtown? Know it well?
Spent years working for Arasaka. Years shaved off my life working for a corp. But Dogtown only exists because someone stands to profit. It's a combat zone, not a place to raise a family.
Folks are here because they got nowhere else to go. That's you introduced. I'm Brianna. 6 years back, the Tigers came after me, so I ran. Landed here. For most of us, our past doesn't amount to more than that. Running, surviving, which is why I want to make sure that for once, the eddies we've scraped together will buy us justice. Real justice.
How'd you put together the scratch for this?
All of us here, we pitched in. We've suffered enough.
Justice? Means what to you exactly? Definitions vary. Want to hear your take.
Leon Rinder doesn't deserve to live. He was a triggerman for Hansen. A murderer.
All too familiar with that brand of justice.
Good for you. Doesn't change Rinder killing Martha's son, Jason, along with his friends and 4 other residents. Jason, Caleb, Deontay, Omar, Pharrell, Matthias, Elisa, and Tamika.
Rinder's not a Barghest soldier anymore. Why?
No clue. All I know is he's brutal, cold-blooded, a beast.
What's his connection to Hansen?
He joined when Hansen set up shop in Dogtown. Carried out orders no one else dared take, according to rumor.
Why would Rinder be meeting with Jason? Any idea?
All I know is that Jason was supposed to put Rinder in touch with the Scavs.
Scavengers? Jason happened to be involved in some unsavory biz?
He was a young man trying to get by in Dogtown. Wasn't no angel, but his heart was in the right place. Martha made sure of that.
Surely even Barghest doesn't let murderers walk free, dodge consequences.
Have to catch him first. Told them what happened, but as usual, they simply don't care. Martha's boy, Jason, he wanted to become a fixer. He set up some deal, brought Rinder to the stacks. But there was a dispute. Rinder opened fire and, well, we're still scrubbing the blood off the walls. Identified the bodies by their implants.
I see.
Found this in Jason's body. It's encrypted, but I'm sure you can manage. Feel free to look around. Investigate. There's still plenty of traces.
What's on the data shard?
I don't know, but I'm betting that whatever Jason did for Rinder, it'll have details.
Rinder will get what's coming to him. I'll make sure of it. Can tell that to Jason's mother.
Good, I will. Now you know what we've been through, V. Don't let us down.
Can count on me.
Rinder's dog tag. Bring it to me. It'll serve as a reminder to this pack of thugs that we're capable of fighting back.
I'll do my best.
Attention all residents, this is Kurt.
Okay, the kettle was boiling during that whole dialogue, so I am going to be back in just a second. I won't, I'll put up the break screen just in case somebody stops by, but it's not going to be that long. Okay, sorry about that. Let me set a timer and then we're good. So I want BD55 1C 1C, so BD55 1CX. straightforward. Got a client for you. Guy wants to sell combat implants, Militech 3rd Gen. Good. Send him to us in Pacifica, the old Los Osos Motel, where you get them. Better off telling me how much you're willing to pay, but only if it's quality chrome. It is. And a lot. Tens of thou. Fuck me, in my cut? Don't try to be funny. You already get a flat fee. You want more? Then ask your supplier. Yeah, it's always the same with you a-holes. Sorry, just a second here. I'll see if I can move the mic. Okay. I'm happy enough to investigate the area. Boots used by
combat souls. Must have run up, boost on the roof of this shack, bash his leg against a railing. That's a 10-foot jump for a man who's got to weigh at least 360 pounds. Even dino prints like these.
So either we're witnessing the fattest fuck who ever jumped, or Rinder's got augmented hamstrings on top of being chromed up like a goddamn tank.
It's a riddle, all right.
Alloy damaged by a heavy, fast-moving object. Okay. I've said it before, but I do kind of like the investigation part.
Someone's been collecting different kinds of lead here. But why?
When I was little, after shootouts, we raced to collect any casings we could find. Traded them between ourselves. Must be some kid's stash.
Doesn't tell me anything about Rinder, but I can't complain about knowing a little piece of Johnny Silverhand's childhood.
Obviously, I want to take advantage of any of the height first. I can jump back up, obviously, but I just sort of want to clear out that perspective before heading back down. Oh.
Rinder take it out on the ground or something?
Not his fist. See the blood? Indentation? Took some poor fucker's head and bashed it. Repeatedly.
It's like he went berserk.
Okay. I'm not entirely convinced I wouldn't have seen that if I was on the ground, so I think the time has come for us to see what's going on.
Marks like these. I'm thinking 50 cal rounds. Mark 31 HMG.
Heavier than a motherfucker lead spitter that did this. Hauling it with a Gannic arm? Not a chance.
Classic go-to for Militech Marines. Ex-soldiers like Rinder. Scan didn't pick up traces of other rounds, which would make him the lone shooter.
Seems you're looking for a bored-out killing machine that's lost all self-control.
Sounds about right.
I'm a sucker for optional objectives.
I want Rinder to be scared. Scared to have it all taken away from him. Like he took from me.
Okay, now I'm going to take the game's word for it in terms of where I should be going. It's only half a kilometer, but... And he's done. Just give me 1 second here. I'm not sure I'll follow up on that. We'll see. I've actually been making some progress on the... Not exactly the story, but I'm not mad that I have been doing so many of the car missions. But I'm also kind of conscious of the fact that if I do that too much, then... I mean, there's always going to be car stuff. I'm not... Okay, I'm starting to doubt the game. Yeah. I think I'm going to try my own way on this. Yeah, the car stuff is fine. It will help me, but I do think the gigs tend to be a little bit more interesting. So it's nice to have a balance, but I'm definitely a little more happy to see a couple of those before we go back to making money. The main reason for doing the car gigs is just it makes it so much easier to
Fuck off while you still got legs to walk on.
Oh, that's interesting. It's not quite the...
Another overnight delivery, looks like. Wonder what it was.
She dead? Got Banna's biomon. That means you killed her or no. Never mind. You have Banna's biomonitor. Bring it to us quickly. Do not disappoint, V.
Meds? Iron?
Oop.
Implants?
Implants, for sure.
God, this is a tough call. Like, there's a side of me that wants to, yeah, you know what? Let's go for the goodies. Actually, you know what? It's gonna take a while.
He's been hiding with him for... What's now?
Could you? Talk to him for me? Maybe
Okay.
something fell off his track recently.
I should have trusted the map. I thought the game was gonna crash. All right. Well, could have been worse. But yeah, I'm thinking I probably... Oh, but I did find a tarot card. So I guess it's not a complete loss. Wow, I almost went right by that.
Huh.
King of Swords. Two things matter above all else for a King of Swords: logic and conviction. They represent a person with a precise moral compass, who is known for their caring demeanor. However, enemies beware. The King of Swords is a ruthless opponent who will not rest until they are punished and left to be torn apart by the hounds of fate. Okay, so I definitely learned my lesson. I'm gonna... Interesting. This is almost certainly related to the tarot card. I can't remember if I talked about this when the tarot first came up in the game. I'm always kind of intrigued by how tarot seemed to have the role, or kind of get the significance that it did. So, my best understanding is that it was properly a playing card game first, and then the fortune-telling practices followed. Clearly now we know it better as a, as a means of telling fortunes. But it's also one of these things, like there's lots of different ways to tell fortunes. So there's, tea leaves in a cup, there's animal entrails, there's, birds, going out in certain quadrants. There's lots of, maybe I'm not so fond of this one, but tortoiseshells, taking a hot poker and seeing the cracks. There's lots of different ways that people have tried to do this sort of thing, but for some reason the cards, and like not just any cards, but that specific set of cards seems to be the one that's captured the imagination. And I think to a certain extent it makes sense that at least in terms of cultural products, tarot might come up a little bit more. And I think the main reason for that would be that it's there's very compelling imagery, right? So if you happen to be into visual arts, you have these cards with a significant amount of symbolism attached to them. And then of course you also have these these different figures, so that you have people like Aleister Crowley doing, or sorry, I think it's Crowley actually, doing his own decks with its own interpretations, and it does seem to be something that people have returned to in terms of doing their own work. So I think H.R. Giger also did a particular tarot deck, and I would be remiss not to mention Weather Factory. So there's the Tarot of the Hours, but there's also the Lucid Tarot that's on its way. So I think to a certain extent there, it might have a better branding simply because it's, there's something about those images that compel people. I have heard an interesting perspective that says that the tarot is a form of procedural generation. And I don't think this is limited to tarot, incidentally. I think this could be said generally for cartomancy. Oh wow, so we're properly leaving Dogtown then. I wish I'd known that. I would have got a car. Oh well, walk and talk's not so bad. Should do that and do that with the camera more. The weather's getting better. But yeah, the idea of it being a form of procedural generation. So again, I think for the most part, different forms of cartomancy, and maybe not even then. Even things like the tortoiseshell. Clearly, you are relying on a set of properties to give some structure to the randomness. Although I think once you start sort of relying on physical processes, it's a hard one, right? Like I think dice, it kind of makes sense. The idea of relying on physics at a certain point, maybe you just have real randomness and no structure. Time to get into a fight. I don't mind the animals so much. I just didn't know who I was shooting at.
Remember, there's no need to be afraid of sharks. The last whale shark died in 2067.
But yeah, I don't know. Clearly there's something that people continue to be drawn to by it. And yet I do sometimes wonder, right? Like, what specifically was it about that? I'll put it to you this way. It is not the only, I guess for lack of a better term, spiritual art that has, been a rich source of material for the imagination. It's clearly unfashionable to highlight it as a form of inspiration, but obviously the Bible has been such a big one, right? And not even necessarily in terms of religious art, although that is clearly a very big part, but even in terms of reactions against it. So you'll have... What am I looking at here? Scavengers. Scavengers. Scavengers.
You're gonna be dead!
Stupid motherfucker!
Stop that racket. But yeah, so, obviously, cathedrals, stained glass windows, the works of Bach, these would probably be the first ones that people think about. But heavy metal covers, right? All pulled straight out of the Book of Revelation. But then you also have sort of reactions against religious imagery. So you have, whether you are thinking of like a Marilyn Manson concert or, people, most of the time when you're thinking of modern art, it's usually the desecration of religious symbols. But even then, that has been a series of images. And I mean, clearly in terms of movies, right, I cannot count the number of times that I've seen a protagonist that sacrifices himself at the end making a T-pose, right? Like, so, I don't know, like, it's... what I mean to say by this, it's not to speak to the, the merits of, of the Christian faith as a source of inspiration, but it's just simply to point out that for whatever reason, tarot seems to keep coming up again and again, and to a certain extent, it's one of these things, and again, it drives me nuts. It's actually maybe nice that I don't have a lot of people watching. It does tend to drive me nuts when the way some people respond to questions like this. I mean, they're more rhetorical questions than anything. But, people say, well, there's a narrative behind it, and it's got imagery and so on and so forth. And it's like, well, yes, I realize that. But when you consider the fact that...
I can hook you up.
V, remember that killing Rinder is enough. You need to bring back his dog tag. I guess they called him Rinder. But yeah, no, the point of this is not that I don't realize it. I get the impression sometimes that people think I am very slow, that I can't see what's obvious. But the point of this is not so much to say it's weird that it's tarot. I think it makes perfect sense that it's tarot. But on the other hand, saying that there is, meaning and narrative and such doesn't actually explain as much as it first seems, because there are lots of other candidates for that from lots of other traditions, both quote-unquote mainstream. So again, there's a reason why probably you wouldn't see a lot of overt Christian religious imagery, because that will come with certain associations that maybe aren't, they don't indicate you're mad, bad, and dangerous to know. But, you also have plenty of stuff that's off the beaten track. So I'm going to assume that a lot of people are probably not familiar with, Zoroastrianism or Gnosticism or, there's all sorts of strains of philosophy, Manichaeanism, although that's kind of like a combination of everything. And then, this is maybe not entirely a heavily Western focus, but there's plenty to take from the East as well. And those don't necessarily come up as often as something like the Tarot. And again, it could also just be a self-reinforcing thing, right? But again, if you're looking for ready-made symbols, well, now you come back to Western religious traditions, and those are the ones that allow for commonality. So it's not so much that I don't understand the merits of Tarot on its own, as it is that every reason that you can give for that particular, like the way that you see the world as it is, you actually have alternatives that don't seem to be used as much that would actually have the same reasoning behind it. So to me, that's usually the case where, you start searching a little bit deeper. Although I don't know this stuff well enough to turn it into a big research project. I have lots of things that could turn into big research projects. Okay. I remember. Thank you. We'll be waiting. So I'm guessing Hound is not going to want me to be walking by, but we'll see.
Now go on, get out of here.
Take a dip in our cordon saltwater pool for up to 20 minutes.
Maybe the scavenger.
Came to do an abandoned motel crawling with organ clippers. Wonder if we'll find them on the first floor or on all of them. Often a little bit.
I might just have to fight my way in.
Hey. Yes.
Archive conversation. Samuel Igorov and Daria Alexieva. You want something from the stadium? Bring me some Neurosig boosters. For the Zeta Tech gear? Yeah. Why are you going there? I have to take care of a patient from Demir. He's asking for help. I thought he only got people from us. Not always. This time it's a proper procedure. I don't feel as bad being violent. I guess there's a couple scavs that I was non-lethal on, but scavs I don't feel too bad killing. Whoever finds Demir first, tell him I took care of the backup power. If there's a surge on the level, power will automatically switch to a backup generator. From now on, there is no way this medtech piece of shit loses juice. Uh, 1C7AE9. Okay, that's a trap. So if I do a BD, that doesn't start. Okay, so I can't start any of these off. So if I do a 1C1C7AE9. Okay. Kind of got in my own head, and I almost threw it away. All right. So if I can go quiet, it'd be good. Voodoo Boys. Matter simple. Haitians are untouchable in Pacifica. Understood? No kidnapping, harvesting chrome or organs. No lighthearted tussles either. Those VDB lunatics have been getting touchy lately about their influence in Pacifica, so just behave. Keep it civil. Implants for sale. I heard you're in the market for implants and don't ask questions. Sounds like I'm your man. I've come into some cutting-edge tech, mostly arms and legs, jam-packed with all kinds of nifty features. Calibrated for athletes, but any Normo would be interested too. Gear suited for folks on the smaller side, or even just kids. So, we in biz? Yikes. I don't ask questions because I don't need to. You're with Fiona, which means I'm just interested. And if you know who Fiona answered to, you wouldn't send messages like this. Don't contact me again. I'm gonna guess just should be not interested.
That Vargas maniac was built like a walk.
Okay. Let's see if I can distract. That's a good start.
Killing machine is what he was.
Jesus Christ.
I've got a chainsaw, cocksucker! Ah! Numbers are dropping!
Come on! I'm right here!
Yeah, not my finest work. You're the guy, another one guy you're talking about? Vargas guy? You got his iron? Yeah, boys are playing with it. Where? At what? Inside, at the wall. Emma's about to run out anyway. It better. Not like they never fucked anything up.
Hey, fucker, you're a bitch.
Who said that? I just wanted the pounding bass back. Boris's recipe: half a pound protein brick. Third tier from Biotechnica is enough. 2 onions. Biohackers at the stadium have the best. 1 egg yolk, synthetic, obviously. Water, well filtered. Synth flour from Petrochem. Spices, whatever you can find. Salt is a must-have. How to prepare: mix the flour with the synth yolk, add some oil, and then pour water. Let rest for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, dice onion and fry. Crumble the protein brick and season to taste. Then add onion to make the stuffing. Then form your pelmenis and put it in boiling water. Boil until the pelmenis float. There's the place that the local game dev meetup happens. It's a kind of a Russian bar called Avant-Garde. One thing that's kind of fun about it is they have a bunch of old Soviet propaganda posters up on the kind of surrounding the bar. So it's always kind of fun to look at them. It's not just the propaganda stuff. There's also some like just different art movements. So there's Kandinsky. I'm trying to remember the name of... Oh, God. You know what? Let me see if I can find it. I think it's Klimt. Yep, Gustav Klimt. But yeah, just some of that as well. It's just a nice place to hang out. There used to be some more bands that would play there. I don't know if COVID put an end to that or if nice. But yeah, no, I think it's a cool place to hang out. And okay, it sounded like there's an enemy in the area.
I'll kill you and make a perfect for my...
He vanished. Oh. What was I gonna say? Anyways, avant-garde, Russian propaganda. Oh yeah, no, sorry, the Russian food. So I haven't had borscht there, which I'd really like, but I think they tend to make something else. But I have had plemeni there, or pelmeni? Anyways, very good. I'm also kind of glad that the meetups are local again, because it does mean that that place has more traffic. I completely sleepwalk into this. I don't think I can get a 55 out of that. Internal hemorrhage following blunt force trauma, clumsily extracted implants.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so yeah, I don't exactly want to put the points into strength. It's not giving me a lot of alternatives either. I'll put it to you this way, I'm not opposed to it. But I'm not convinced that's the only way. Well, what else do I think it's going to be, though? I'm assuming his reaction is to the trauma team stuff here. I probably should have paid a little closer attention to that.
Coming soon in 2079.
All right. I've pretty much given up on any form of stealth. I'm begging you, how many fucking times do I have to explain something so goddamn simple? External cyberware doesn't need to go in the fridge. Internal cyberware does. External means arms, legs, etc. Why is that? Because they're on the outside of the body. Can you guess where the internal ones are located? That's right, inside. Anything including synthetic kidneys, intestines, hearts, livers, lungs have to go in the fridge without exception. I am begging you all to remember that. Why are you even taking stuff out of the fridge? There's a shitload of space in there. Gennady Korolev and Kirill Osipov. They bought the stuff. The amnesia shit I was telling you about. You in? Because everyone's dropping by to test it out before it goes to NC. Slaps pretty hard, apparently. Fuck, I can see you're reading this. You gonna say something? Well, if I'm reading this, and you say everyone will be there, then so will I. You're such a weirdo, Colada. Patient file, Misha Sorokin, 25 years old, physically sound, second-gen arm implant, knockoff of Zetatech, calibration needed in addition to installing visual cortex support and increasing memory to boost the brain's processing power.
Got a bad feeling, V.
Okay, I will check that out, but I get stuff I want to get here first. Patient file, Fyodor Dmitriev, age 36, damaged kidney, CTE symptoms, progressive neurodegenerative disease, amplified dialysis intensity in the Zetatech IO3 kidney implant, decreased data load transmitted via Kiroshi as patient cannot keep up with processing. Install prefrontal cortex assistance, any manufacturer, to expand patient's decision-making capabilities. Optic. Branko, that Kiroshi optic from Rinder is as good as scrap. There's a virus on it, the nerves have latency, probably all from the beginnings of Hep B. I'd toss it in the trash. Fuck, can't we at least pull some useful data from it? Something interesting about Bargast? Hansen? Doubtful, but I'll check. It's honestly not in the best condition. Forever young. Are you in your 50s, 60s, even your 70s, but still want to look like you did in your teens? Do you crave the eternal youth of the Arasakas but can't afford the implants? We've got a solution. One-a-day puerperonimics will slow the effects of aging, helping you look even 20 years younger. You're just one small capsule away from enjoying your natural beauty to its fullest, even into old age. Pueteronymix is completely safe to use. Studies have shown it to be over 95% effective. Tako Tanaka, MD. Incredible. I'm 68 years old and I don't look a day over 40. One of our many satisfied customers. All my wife's friends constantly ask how she bagged her cougar self such a young husband. You should see her face when she tells them I'm actually old enough to be her father. Another satisfied customer. Don't bother getting an expensive new faceplate. Invest in your stunning natural beauty. Hacked heart implant valve. There's quite a bit more evidence here than I was. So there's supposed to be something here. Maybe it's in the lower level. Yep.
Bloodstains. Almost fresh. Looks like they carved someone up here recently.
Guts on the walls, blood on the floor, optical on the table. Interior decoration. Scav edition.
So I'm assuming this build-up would have been a little bit more dramatic if I'd done it properly.
I'll tear you apart!
Good God. Reboot the optics, please. There we go. Okay, that bought me time, but I forgot that if you're going after a boss, yeah, I gotta be really careful here. Interesting. I don't think I've had a close quarters fight like this before. This is actually really interesting. I should have tagged him though, because I have no idea where he is. Nope. Just let me shock him. Give him something to think about. Good lord. Yeah, I can't just stand and fight like that. This is actually a good chance for me to heal up for a bit. Sorry about that. That's a nice little touch, though. Yeah, a boss fight in close quarters like this is I'm trying to remember the last time I've seen something like that in this. I kind of like it. I'm assuming at the halfway point things get much worse. I'm also noticing I'm getting a couple of spikes. I probably shouldn't be jumping in the bioweapon. Okay. Oh boy. Presumably it's going to take him to phase 2. Okay. Oh boy. I should probably hit his cyberware. Because that could potentially be deadly if he gets the drop on me when... Yeah, I gotta keep distance, and if he short-circuits me, I have no real indication of my survivability. I just trapped myself in a corner. Good lord, I could die here. So the problem here is if I try going toe-to-toe with shotguns, he wins because he has just too much health. But yeah, the catch is if I try the pistol... Like, I gotta try and get this guy at range, but... I do seem to stop running at random points, which worries me. Ah, crap. Surely I've got enough for a shock. That was risky, but it paid off. I could be screwed. Ugh. Not good. Okay, maybe I can cyber. I am very lucky he was reloading there. I'm also very lucky he did not aim there. Okay, I'm in a bit of trouble, but I'm also... I'm closing the gap health-wise. So if it comes down to a... Oh, crap. No, no, no. God damn it. Okay, this is gonna get awkward for a little bit. Right now, just waiting gives me time. Well, clearly. So if he's not gonna pursue me, that's fine.
If I use a mod, fuck me!
If he makes his move... Okay. I provoked that. Okay, not great, but I have a... Okay, so he's gonna use that as a chance to do his stealth thing. Oh god. Yeah, that almost did me in. He's at 2%, like I'm so close. That could have gone very, very bad. That was a nice little finale. Okay. Archive conversation, Yasha Ivanov and Luka Morozov. I'm supposed to fucking babysit him? He paid for protection, Demir's orders. He can stick his orders up his ass. You see how much he's paying for protection? File attached. You download it? Choom, forget what I said. I'll guard him. Watch over him. Should I kiss him goodnight too? Hold his hand as he falls asleep? Ha ha ha. What can I say? I'm a slut for those sweet, sweet eddies. Can't help myself. That's what I love about you.
Hey, relax, Choom. Let's talk this through. Not about to off an unarmed man, are you?
Rinder? Thought you'd look different. More chromed.
I'm Rinder, all right, or at least what's left of him. Guessing you're here on contract. Hanson sent you?
I'm here in the name of those people you killed at the stacks.
What? Hold on. The stacks? I was there. Someone tried to rip me off, but I didn't kill no one. I've got these blackouts. Ain't always present. I'm sick, okay? Sounds like you know more than me.
You let scavs carve you up like a Thanksgiving turkey. Why?
'Cause I told him to. What do you think? Sold him my chrome. Might be twisted fucks, but they keep their word.
Now you're gonna tell me that hulking slab of a scav that came at me was your Ripper?
That bumbling buffoon? Just proof they can't guard for shit.
You and Hanson, what happened? Left you on the rocks?
You got eyes? Tossed me to rot in the gutter. My chooms, too. 8 years I gave that asshole.
8 years. Kid enlisted at 20. Had no excuse. Fuck did he think it'd happen? Stuffing himself with combat wear like a piñata. Matter of time before he burst.
You killed that kid Jason, along with 7 others. Why? What for?
I'm sick, all right? I wanted to pawn my chrome, collect enough scratch to get treated. Jason was my go-between with the local scavs.
And here you are, meaning he did his part.
Except you tried to give me the Dogtown shakedown first. Started waving his big dick iron. Fucking savage. And then... I can't remember.
Rippers in Dogtown. None of them could help. Say what's ailing you.
If they did, think I'd have myself gutted like a fish? Ripping out 3rd-gen combat wear and tripping myself with crooked chrome for what? Shits and gigs?
Think I've heard enough.
I'm sure it might have been interesting to hear the rest of the story, but I'm not entirely sure I feel bad about that choice.
Attention, this is Kurt Hansen. Good news, Dogtown. A certain president has turned up in Washington. Safe and sound. Now, if I were a betting man, I'd say she was there all along.
It's done? Ranger's dead? You didn't let us down, did you?
What else can I say? Rosalind, if you're ever really in Dogtown, we're ready to welcome you with open arms.
Didn't let you down. He's gone. For good.
I hope he was scared. That he begged for his life.
Didn't look too happy. Can tell you that.
On behalf of all the residents of the Stacks, thank you.
It's the least I could do.
V, the target. Is he terminated?
Took care of him.
Congratulations, then. Contract closed.
Okay. I'm thinking I can probably wrap it up here. Well, let's do money for nothing. I would like to follow up on the high value section, but I figure that would not be a bad way of starting next week. And this was definitely one of the more quiet, sort of stream-wise broadcasts. Which is not a tragedy. I mean, I've been here before, but it does sometimes make me wonder if maybe it's a Cyberpunk thing, or if it's or if it's a Friday thing. And that's just because when I mentioned, you know, at the start, just trying to, you know, make good use of my time, if either, like, people don't need to worry about me stopping streaming. Like, I'll telegraph that well in advance. But if Friday isn't a good day for people anymore, or if people are just not interested in what I'm doing on the Friday, there is something of an argument for me trying to claim that time back. I probably wouldn't stop doing Cyberpunk. There are a few people who like it. So I know Ellen Ripley and Yessie and the Stars are two people who tend to like Cyberpunk quite a bit. But ultimately, if Fridays wind up being sort of for me, you know, I enjoy playing Cyberpunk. I'll put it on there and I'll, you know, carry on if people aren't watching. Then once that's done and it's for me, then it might mean that I want to come up with something else for the day. But with that in mind, if you are somebody who would normally be tuning in on a Friday, and there's something different you'd like to see, I'm definitely open to that kind of feedback. And if it turns into a trend or something like that, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But the big thing about all of this is just, as always, I figure I owe it to people to try and be as clear or as upfront as I can in terms of any plan changes. Katya, there's a rumor going around the stadium that Sovoil is hunting someone in D-Town. Get in touch as soon as you can, leaving you the package here like we agreed. Plus add a little something extra. Ping me soon. We'll think of something, Jerry. And yeah, I'm not going to meet with Reed at the Moth quite yet. Although one thing I can do is lighten the load. Let's go by type again. So among the pistols, not enough damn. So I've got the Handyman and the Dubuque, maybe. Oh yeah, it's a special gun. Okay. Not sure I want to replace it with the new. We'll definitely disassemble the Lexington and the revolver here. Okay, we got a couple Lexingtons. Alright, revolvers, obviously the greens and blues go automatically. I'm kind of changing, like I said before, changing the rules on what I'm keeping. So if it's, you know, a unique weapon, I'm sort of okay hanging on to it for a little while. Now, there's a small temptation to think maybe about using some of these submachine guns, but I can't use them with pistols. I would need to use that with a revolver, which is fine. I actually wouldn't necessarily mind doing that, but I do need a good reason to do that. Seeing as we're onto assault rifles now, incidentally, we'll clean it up. I'm not so sure this is properly ordered. Okay. Yep, that's fine. We are starting to hit the limits of my weight, I think. Oh, right, we can do a lot of upgrades. I'm going to leave that for later. But yeah, I don't know. It's I do want to follow up with Solomon Reed, but if I can get more interesting things done before I do that mission, I don't think that's a bad use of my time. And of course, among the interesting things, seeing as I'm now... Okay, here we go. So I did say I was going to wrap up, but I do have a car, so I'll maybe be able to buy myself a new vehicle.
No. How long you been on this, man? Tell me this. One more time, Art. How long was this supposed to take? Oh, fuck now.
Ah!
Where'd that fucker go?
I think I hit a civilian there. I mean, it could just be because I'm doing this attack anyway, but... Yeah, this is just a nice excuse for me to... Uh-oh. Crap. They're coming after me again. Nice. Give me a second. I haven't heard this song before, which is fine. I just want to make sure that I have disabled copyrighted music. Done. So the hope here is by dropping off the vehicle, I'll have a...
Client's got a strict deadline. Seems he's on his way out ahead. See it.
2.5 minutes for 2 kilometers isn't the end of the world, but it's a tight deadline if there's a second condition. I think we're dropping it off at Biotechnica. Okay, not my favorite. So I'll probably have 45 seconds to kill the tail at the drop-off point.
Cut off that tail of yours, man. Don't care how. Oh yeah, I knew I picked the right word.
It was exactly 45 seconds. Yeah, so the only catch here is there's not a, there isn't a spot for me to buy a new... There's a spot for me to buy a new car. Let's see if I can find that on the map. Well, there's one. It's the one place to eat in, this counts as the Badlands? I don't need a new car that badly. So I guess it's the stadium to get the autofixer terminal. Alright, I can live with this. But yeah, I think that's it for tonight. Unless somebody recently kind of came in and wants to see me go a bit longer, but game's saying we spent almost exactly 3 hours, and I spent a few minutes talking. And there's other things I can do tonight, so this seems like a decent place to finish. So here are the plans for the oncoming week. Obviously, last week was a bit of a... had a bit of a disruption because I wasn't feeling 100%. Work is only going to get busier, I think it would be fair to say. So with that in mind, my plan for sure is to keep streaming. The 1 hour window is definitely going to be a thing I need to rely on for a while, and that's just because, again, I'm dealing both with a commute but also a large amount of work. To my work's credit, they have actually been very concerned. They specifically asked me, because they saw the hours that I was working, they were trying to make sure that I was not spending extra time to be able to to get all my work done. And that was just a function of me, getting work done at a time that I thought would be best. It wasn't me, putting in extra hours or something like that. I really don't like doing that because, in the end it creates an expectation that you're not going to be able to deliver forever. And it means that you're not going to be able to get better. But in any case, it's just because of that, because the timing that I have, so that window between me leaving work and getting home, on top of having dinner and all of those things, is so tight. I do, it does help me to have that window. Obviously, on Fridays I pay for that pretty heavily sometimes, but that's fine. That's what it is. But yeah, in terms of overall plans, on Saturday I should get another batch of Book of Hours videos recorded. Hopefully Sunday I get for myself, and then Monday we'll be back for Old World. We are no longer doing the Philip of Macedon scenario. We are moving on to Alexander and his mom. Wednesday we'll be back to Phantom Brigade, although I do want to eventually fold in Godless and Cobalt Core again. And for those of you that like Cyberpunk, we will be back with that in a week. So I look forward to seeing some of you then. And I think I'm going to host Vesper Fortune. So Vesper is doing a game I haven't seen before, Saint Maker. But I don't always get a chance to catch him, so I will I'll give him a raid. I hope you stick around. I have absolutely nothing to say in terms of what it is. I think the last thing that I saw him playing was Majesty, which seemed to be an older RTS. But again, I will leave him to explain what he's up to. Yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.